It was raining again, one of those nights when the world feels too quiet and the streets too wide, the kind of night when even the city seems to hold its breath. In a forgotten corner of town, lit only by the dim glow of a broken street lamp, a mechanic named Ravi was closing his little garage. Oil-stained hands, torn gloves, a back sore from lifting engines all day. The kind of man no one notices, not because he's not kind, not because he's not strong, but because he's invisible in a world obsessed with shiny things. Ravi lived a modest life. He slept on a mattress near the garage entrance, kept a worn picture of his late mother in his shirt pocket, and saved every coin to one day fix up the house she left behind. Most nights, he would heat up leftover lentils and rice, play an old tape of Kishore Kumar songs, and fall asleep to the humming of the rain against the rusted tin roof. But this night was different. At 1:47 a.m. his cracked phone buzzed, a number he didn't recognize. He hesitated. Was it a prank? A mistake? He answered anyway. Hello? His voice was groggy but alert. Is this Ravi, the mechanic? A woman asked on the other end, her voice trembling. Yes, ma'am. I know this is strange, but I need help. It's my father. His bedroom light won't turn on. He's afraid of the dark. He's not well, and no one else is picking up. Can you come? Ravi looked out at the rain. He had no bike. It broke down weeks ago. He would have to walk. But he heard something in the woman's voice, desperation layered beneath pride. He grabbed his toolkit, put on his fraying jacket, and stepped out into the storm. The house was far 2 miles of soaked sidewalks and empty streets. When he reached the gate, he froze. This wasn't just a house, it was a mansion. Grand iron gates, tall glass windows, and a silence that felt colder than the rain. The woman greeted him at the door, maybe in her late 20s, elegant but tired, like someone who once laughed freely but hadn't in years. She led him through marble floors and chandeliers to a dim hallway. He's in there, she said, pointing to a heavy oak door. He hasn't left that room in weeks. Ravi nodded and entered quietly. Inside was a frail old man, perhaps in his 70s, hunched in an oversized armchair near the window. He didn't look up when Ravi walked in. The room was dark, save for a faint lamp near the bed. Ravi examined the switch's loose wires, cheap fittings. 15 minutes and some careful work later, the light flickered back on. The room filled with soft, warm light. The old man stirred and looked up, squinting. You fixed it? He asked. Yes, sir. It was just a small connection. The old man stared at him, eyes watery. Small connection. He whispered, almost to himself. That's all it takes sometimes. Ravi didn't know what to say. He quietly packed up, ready to leave, but the old man motioned him to stay. Do you have 5 minutes? He asked. They sat in silence for a while. Then the man spoke, slowly, like his words were stones he had carried too long. I used to be someone, you know, ran a company, built buildings, signed deals, but I lost my wife 5 years ago, then my son, then my friends. They stopped calling when I stopped hosting. Now I just sit here afraid of the dark. He looked at Ravi. You came at 2 a.m. in the rain. Why? Ravi shrugged, unsure how to explain kindness to someone who's forgotten it. Because you needed help. The man broke years of grief cracking through his carefully built walls. He wept, not the loud kind, but the quiet sobs of someone who's held in too much for too long. And Ravi, who barely had a roof over his head, sat beside a millionaire and placed a hand on his shoulder. No words, just presence. The next morning, Ravi was getting ready to return to his garage when the woman stopped him at the door. You have no idea what you've done, she said, her voice thick with emotion. He hasn't spoken to anyone in weeks. He smiled today. He even asked for breakfast. She handed him an envelope. Ravi opened it. Confused, inside was 1 lakh in cash. I can't accept this, he said immediately, stepping back. You must, she said. It's not payment, it's gratitude for reminding him and me that good people still exist. Months passed. Ravi used part of the money to fix up his mother's home. He bought new tools, repaired his garage roof, and even hired a young boy from the neighborhood to train. But that wasn't the end. The old man, Mr. Kapoor, began visiting Ravi's garage every week. Sometimes he brought chai, sometimes just conversation. Eventually, he offered Ravi a small workshop space in the city, fully equipped. "I don't want charity," Ravi said. "It's not." Mr. Kapoor replied, "It's partnership. You helped me fix a light. Now let's light up your future." Together, they started a business, Ravi's Honest Repairs. Within a year, they had 5 branches and dozens of trainees, many of them former mechanics, school dropouts, or the overlooked. But the real reward, the relationship. 2 men, one rich in money, the other in heart, had found what both were missing: connection. At the end of the story, on YouTube, Mr. Kapoor joins the viewers himself. He sits beside Ravi, smiling. "I spent a lifetime building things," he says. "But only after meeting Ravi did I understand what it means to fix something, truly fix it. Not wires, not buildings, but people, loneliness, dignity, hope." He looks at Ravi, then at the camera. "There are lights that don't run on electricity. They run on kindness, on showing up, even at 2 a.m., especially then." And just like that, the screen fades to black, and the words appear, "Be someone's light. You never know whose darkness you'll change."